here at LRT because it is time for the Lithuanian selection, and I'm joined by the man running the show, Audrius. Audrius, how are you?
Thank you. I'm really fine. Tonight we are recording the third show, so a big job waiting ahead.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been 3 weeks since the selection process began, and we're looking to crown the Lithuanian winner on March 11th, which is a Sunday.
Yes, it's the Sunday, probably the latest day we may do it.
Because I think that's like the day before where you have to basically have your contestant.
Yes.
Traditionally, you've done Saturdays, but Sunday, what's significant about March 11th?
It's the national holiday, and we decided for the second year already to make it on that day. I don't know it will happen on Wednesday or Thursday the next year, so we will see. But since it's still weekend, so we decided to keep that tradition.
Perfect.
It will be in big arena, so...
So you're still keeping the big arena thing for the final?
Yeah, we're still keeping even the big arena. It will be in Kaunas, in the very center of the country, so people from all the towns in Lithuania will be able to come.
That's exciting. Well, we're excited to see how the journey is going to play out. But a lot of comments have been made throughout the years about the format of the show. It's been called the longest Eurovision selection. Pretty much Eurovision's over and already Lithuania begins their selection for their next entrant. Do you have any comments on the length of the process of how you decided
Actually,
to do the
I
show?
believe there's nothing special about the length. Because in the other countries, this first part of the selection happens behind the screens, and people see just semi-finals and the final show. What we've decided to do, just to show almost everything. There is some pre-selection, let's say very funny or very, very bad songs do not appear on screen, on television. But since some young artists come, and probably for them is the only possibility to appear on big, real professional stage with real sound, real lights, real effects, or what television has, and not to present their songs only on internet platforms. So we decided to give for them this chance. It's one thing. Another thing, it's the television programming. It's very popular program, one of the highest ratings in Lithuania. So why not to have the real natural format? The other channels shows X Factor or The Voice, and young people sing karaoke there. They sing well-known pieces. Yeah. So here, the artists, the young singers and professional singers, they present original songs. Whether they are better, whether they are worth, whether they are very good or not, it's a different question. But here they sing the natural, the original songs, new songs. And so we decided to have a big format.
So you also decide to purposely mix it up because you don't want to bring like every Donny Montel into one contest.
No.
Well, that's good because
and on the other hand, some people say that this is a very long and very, very hard work for the artists. But come on, in this first part of the selection, they appear only once a month. So those who appeared in the first week, they have the whole month to polish their performance, to polish their song. So it's not very difficult, I believe.
But I think it's also important that you said this is a good platform for young people to be out there. Because you have to look at the future.
Yeah.
Not everyone is born ready for the stage. People
and I believe this is the same in the other countries, that well-known artists, very experienced artists, they are not very happy to go to big Eurovision and, not to get into the final, or to get into the final and be somewhere there, and then to come home kind of with feeling of shame that you was not very successful. And these young artists, they are ready for everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the one thing we can say is Lithuania definitely has, for such a small country, a high talent of musical ability. Well, speaking of also the length of the contest, last year the winner of the selection was Fused Mark. And didn't really perhaps perform as well compared to past entrants. Perhaps in that song, for me, is, when I first heard it, I wasn't, a huge fan, but it's actually one of the few songs I listen to now, a year after the contest, because I got to appreciate it more and realized, it's actually a really good song. I didn't have that appreciation last time, but what I'm thinking is, perhaps because of the length of the show, do people then take songs that they learn to appreciate that they didn't at first, which would be great, you know, in Lithuania, but perhaps doesn't translate so well at Eurovision when people make judgments based off one time looking at it.
Yeah, but if we look at the countries which finish their selection very early, what do they do then? They play their song everywhere. Yeah. It's on radio,
they want it all over Europe,
on YouTube, wherever they can. They promote the song. So it also sits in.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it worked for Donny Montel. That was a great performing song, and that was, again, he had to perform that 5 times, but it did really well for you. But speaking of this year, it's already had some controversies into week 3. For example, we had Mia speaking out on her past experience, and Mia, I guess, didn't end up advancing from the second heat. But also Erica Jennings, who has gone to Eurovision for Lithuania, came out and basically withdrew from the competition, stating that she was not happy with the structure and perhaps the jury's behavior. The comments they make, which are irrelevant, the way they say it, or, you know, what they were also saying on their Facebook pages.
I see.
Do you have any comments against what was
said? Yeah, of course. My first comment is that, you know, how difficult is to deal with pretty women. They change their opinion.
Or pretty men too, right?
Of course, with those pretties.
The pretties, you know? Yeah.
So, yeah, but talking seriously, I believe that the truth is somewhere between. Because I know that Erica has some plans for her own, and on the other hand, I cannot recall a single moment when jury was not respectful to Erica during all the selections.
Well, she's so well known here in Lithuania, and she has fans all over the world.
So when we hear jury talking not pleasant things, we try to avoid them of being rude, really. But when they are talking straight truth to people who should think twice before coming up on this stage, so that's also honest thing. But I can't recall any single moment when jury was not respectful to the artists who do not deserve that.
Right. Because like you said, you mix up the talent here. You want to have newer comers. You want to give them a platform. And sometimes you have no idea how it's going to turn out until they go up on that big stage and do it.
Yeah, of course. And Mia, it's also her story. So, you know, show business, it's everywhere has something under the water. And I don't know what music producers do behind the scenes trying to win Eurovision. They also compete with their influences.
Yes, absolutely. Every selection has a bias. We're all humans.
Yeah. But we as LRT, as television, we stay out of it. So you should be strong. You participate in the contest, which gives you a chance to go to the biggest show almost in the world. So this worth to have a strong shoulders and strong back.
Right.
If you are not going to listen to strong comments, not pleasant comments from jury here, so what will you do when you will open the Facebook?
Oh, we know how you fans can be on the comment board.
Yeah, so and you will read all this shit. Sorry to say.
Yeah.
What you can find there.
Yeah.
So you, as an artist, this is a part of your profession, and you should be strong about that. And what I can really promise, I don't see in the nearest future that we will go to some artist and say, please, 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 go represent Lithuania. No, you will.
Oh no! I've been waiting for more Donny. but
of course. But I believe Donny is strong enough to go through the process.
Yeah.
Maybe we will make it shorter. Maybe we will change something in the process itself. But we won't cancel selections.
Right.
And so artists should be ready for that, despite how famous and how experienced they are.
Right. And speaking of, if Erica or Mia find a great song and they go, this is perfect for Eurovision, and they come to you or they want to enter again, will they be allowed back into the contest?
The next year?
Next year, or whenever they find the song.
Of course, they are welcome. Every artist is welcome, and you know, I feel sometimes like this old and wise father. Whatever your children do, you still love them, and you say, okay, I understand. You are under great pressure, and so you try to keep your face still. We are all negotiating faces. This is what's going on. And if some moments, some artists certainly feel that they're not feeling like winning, they did not feel like winning this year, and they find their reason to withdraw. Okay, we do not make penalties, we do not have bad feelings, and of course it's not very pleasant when you hear something out there. But the next year we close this file, we start from the empty page, and we say you are welcome.
And we're basically just 2 weeks in, and there's actually an act I want to bring up, because let's go back to the Lithuanians' history in the Eurovision, and the best placing act was LT United. And that was a bit of a fun act, but it did get the best results. And even still today, I'm sure the song gets a lot of views. And this past heat, we had a song called Hello. We were treated to Hello in 35 different languages from Tusem. Do you see this as a potential, or what are your feelings on more of the lighthearted acts like this?
I'm not able to talk about the potentiality right now, because I didn't see the stage performances of all of them, only half. Tonight is the third week, the third show. So, but talking about the Tusem, you get such a good, bright feeling watching the show and listening to that song, and so that is worth to think about it.
I mean, it's basically, you're gonna have to watch it once, and it's that feeling you get on the inside, whether it's good, whether it's sad, love, hate. That's what makes people pick up that phone, SMS their votes and things like that. That's what makes even juries, we're all human.
Absolutely.
The emotions that it stirs up kind of, react in that way. So.
And they have such a good sense of humor, this flamingo. It's a, how to say, it's a reference to all these guys who were jumping on stage, and the last year in Ukraine, and then don't remember with the Spanish performance which year it was. Also these guys. So it's a good sense of humor and nice melodies, shining, happy, smiling faces.
Paula, who came back with a big return from last year, and Donnie's helped produce that song. We've got Heats 3 and 4 coming up. We've got Greta Zaza coming up in Heat 3.
She's performing tonight.
Who knows where this is going to end up? We're still in the infancy phase.
We'll see. We have another 2 shows of this first stage of selection. And then people will start coming for the next time on the stage, and we will see.
And from what you've heard so far from all the contestants, do you potentially feel that perhaps this year you might have a Eurovision winner for Lithuania?
It's too early to talk about that, because what I've heard, it's demo versions. And now this is only the 3rd week of the selection, so it means that I haven't seen them all on stage yet.
So literally, you really don't know until you see them on stage the day of the show.
No, because it's even sounds very different, and I don't know how it looks yet. So too early to.
But that's a big testament, because you put together all this content, all these shows, and sometimes the day of. It's a big testament to your team, because it's excellent production values to create this content and do it with such short amount of time. So I think that's something that we forget when we watch it is, all this was made on the same day with the artists coming in. And now we also see why there's also room for improvement, because of course you want that to grow. You don't want this to be done and boom, now you're on the Eurovision stage. You want
No. Even if we finish in March, it's still 2 months for all the improvements and making ideas, how it should look on the big stage of Eurovision. And this year, this no LED, it's a big challenge for everyone, because they've expected a lot of things on the background, and now they have to make the show, to create it themselves.
Interesting. They're going to definitely have to bring the attention on the artist. Thank you so much for your time, Audrius.
Thank you, Kevin.
So don't forget, we have the selection process here in Lithuania every Saturday up until March 11th when it's the finals. You can stream that on LRT's website. Hopefully we'll find a Eurovision winner this year.
Let's see.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.